Today I'm going to talk to you about my strange relationship with food. In particular, how I tend to self-sabotage and break my diet and eat unhealthy food that I don't really want. And I just want to go over that whole process and how it works for me. Because I think I was having a conversation with my mum the other day and came across some interesting sort of insights that I hadn't really thought about before. So I just want to sort of talk through them and get a bit of clarity on some of those things. So just a bit of history and context. I've struggled with weight pretty much my entire life. When I was little, I used to love food. I remember I was the little happy kid going to Hungry Jack's, like had my little crown on, and I just couldn't wait to go to Hungry Jack's. I just loved food. I loved unhealthy junk food, and to me, food was happiness. It's like it was one of those things that just always would make me happy. And look, my mum used to use food as a way of rewarding us. And she never really stopped us from eating certain foods. We were allowed the yummy foods whenever we wanted. Growing up, I had a really unhealthy relationship to food. And through high school, I put on a fair bit of weight. So when I was going into high school in year 8, I was 80 kilos. And even when I left high school, I was 80 kilos. So that just goes to show how overweight I was when I was a little kid. And it was only through liking girls and wanting to look a bit better that I actually started to lose a bit of weight and started to, want to look a certain way. But then after I was married, I put on weight and more and more and more. And before you know it, I was over 100 kilos. And I remember a point getting on the scales, and this was the old analog scales where, you had the little dial that went around, and I stood on the scales and it went all the way around. And it went up to 120 kilos, and it went up to the 120 mark, and then it went over to like 3 kilos. So on the scale, it said I was 3 kilos, but that was because it had already gone all the way around once. Now that was a bit of a wake-up call for me. It's like, oh shit, I'm putting on weight. But look, time went on, and I broke up from that relationship, and I lost a bit of weight, was looking good again, and then met second wife, and put more weight on, and more weight on, and before you know it, I was 138 kilos. I yo-yo up and down, and I always find that putting on weight is always to do with eating a bunch of crap. It's the quantity that I eat, and it's this sort of overindulgence where it's like when I break my diet, I break it as good as anyone. So I will eat everything and anything that I possibly can, and I just do it without hesitation, and I'm almost enjoying the idea of breaking it. There's no part of me that's eating it going, oh my God, I'm so bad. It's like, no, it's like I deserve to break my diet, and I will just eat it like that. So it was interesting, having this conversation with mum. So I've kind of got my weight mostly under control these days, but I still find this same thing popping up here and there. And what it is that, like, when I'm doing a strict diet and I do really well, so I might lose a bunch of weight and I get down to the point where I've gone through the hard work, I've lost the weight, and I get down to a weight that I feel pretty good at. Or maybe something happens and emotionally I get really sort of in a state of turmoil, and it's like at that moment the weight doesn't matter. It's like that's the last thing on my mind because this other horrible thing's happening. So in those moments I turn to food, and I go to eat food, and I'll usually pick the most greasy, gross, disgusting sort of food. Now look, when I say disgusting for my health, not necessarily taste. That's the sort of stuff that's greasy and delicious, and whether that's pizza or burgers or chicken or like KFC chicken, or maybe it's packets of chips or chocolate. It's all the stuff I know I shouldn't be eating. That's what I turn to. And I do it without apology. I will go and get it, and I will be excited by the idea of breaking my diet. And I guess the thing that I realized is that it's not the breaking my diet that I enjoy. In fact, it's that moment from deciding I'm going to break my diet to breaking my diet. It's that process of whether that's an hour, like if let's say the day before I decide, oh yeah, tomorrow I'm going to break my diet, from that moment of deciding that I'm going to break my diet to actually putting that bit of food in my mouth, that's where all the good, nice feelings come in, where I feel good about it. I'm going to break my diet, and I'm excited to break it. It's like as I'm going through the drive-through to get McDonald's, it's while I'm sitting in the drive-through, while I'm ordering the greasy, gross food, that's when I'm feeling some sort of euphoria almost. Like, I'm going to break my diet. I'm in control. I'm choosing to do this because I deserve to break my diet because I've been so good for so long, or because I'm feeling this horrible way. It's like an entitlement. I get to do it. I'm in control. This is my way of doing it. But then the minute I actually put that food in my mouth and I'm eating it, I don't really enjoy it. From there onwards, it's kind of like the fun of it, or the enjoyment of it is actually it. It kind of reminds me of people with shopping addictions, where it's like, it's not what they buy that gives them the joy, it's the fact of actually buying something. I've never really been able to, I guess, relate to that, because whenever I buy a thing, I want the thing. So it's like I get enjoyment or use or something from the thing that I buy. The actual act of purchasing it does nothing for me. I actually get probably more anxiety about having my bank balance go down. Where for some people, the act of purchasing actually gives them that sense of euphoria, or some sort of, addictive sort of nature. And I think that's, when I look at it, I think that's like it for me when it comes to food. It's like, it's the act of breaking my diet that is kind of taboo, and it's something that I enjoy doing. So it's not actually the food itself, it's the being naughty, it's the being bad, it's the breaking, it's the taboo nature of I shouldn't be doing this, that I think is actually what's enticing about it all. So yeah, all in all, that's the crux of it when it comes to my relationship with food. The diet is something that I've struggled with up and down, but I think by identifying that it's the act of doing it, I kind of wonder if next time, even if I just break my diet and go through that and buy the food, and maybe at that stage, that's where I can catch myself and then, have a bite and throw it out. I don't have to then sabotage and go through all that process. And look, I think just by identifying it, I'm going to notice it more now. And so when I feel like breaking my diet, it's like, okay, well, do I really want to break my diet, or do I just want to be taboo and naughty, or do something I'm not supposed to, or that sort of entitled feeling of I want to be in control and do what I want to do. So I'm going to give that a shot and see how it goes. I wonder if anyone else has that same sort of feeling, whether breaking a diet is all about the actual food, or is it about the breaking of it? Let me know if there's anything like that. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. Thanks. Bye for now.